Powerless to Powerful with Angela Bennett, a show that brings a sassy mix of transformative advice on health, relationships, love, career, and mindset shifting, together with some fun and laughter. Powerless to Powerful with Angela Bennett begins now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Powerless to Powerful podcast and show. It is my great honor to welcome one of my favorite guests, Dr. Shavona Whitehead. She's an incredible woman from across the other side of the world from me, down here in down under Sydney, Australia. And I am so honored to have this beautiful, incredible, amazing, phenomenal woman on my show. So I will welcome Dr. Shavona Whitehead to the stage. Yay!
Thank you. How are you tonight? Well, you're morning, my night.
Oh, I am so great. And I'm just amazed to have you on my show as my first guest. Thank you so very much. The honor is all mine. So, Dr. Shavona, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and what brought you here today?
Wow, that's a loaded question, but I am Dr. Shavona Whitehead. I am a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a preacher, I'm an entrepreneur, I am an author, I am a mentor, and I'm a life coach. So all of that encompasses who I am, and my journey here is multi-layered, multifaceted. I grew up as a preacher's kid. So I have the journey of that, but then I also went through my own experience that actually shaped and molded me. For many years, I walked around not knowing who I was, walking around in what I thought people wanted me to walk in. And now I'm walking in my authentic self, and it is amazing. The freedom is amazing. The healing is amazing. I teach women all over how to break out of the box and show up as their authentic selves every day. It's just who I am. And so they call me the more pusher. I push them for more. I push them to grab more. And for me, more stands for motivated overcomers being restored and empowered. So that's a little bit about me.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that, the more pusher. Yeah, I can relate to what you just said about being our authentic self. Actually, I was having a conversation with someone last night about this. We're so conditioned to be what people think that we should be. Well, what we think people should.
Right.
Can't even get my words out. To be what we think that people think we should be. And there is so much freedom and liberty in being who we are, who God created us to be.
Yes.
Because we're all so unique and bring something unique to this world that no one else can bring. That is our assignment. Wow. Mm-hmm. That is so powerful. And it is so, and I think as women as well, we are possibly more conditioned to be this particular person and this particular live life in a particular way. You have a lot of hats that you wear. It's quite astounding. And I guess, being a preacher and a motivator and a coach, do you feel, and all the other things that you do you feel that they all morph in together? Is it easy transitioning from one to the other? What does that look like for you?
So some of them do morph into the motivational speaker, the life coach, the mentor. All of those mesh into one kind of sorta. The preacher is in a whole different place because when I get into the spirit realm with God, it's like wherever he takes me. So that's a whole different thing. And then, of course, the wife and the mom, I have to then put the mentor on the shelf. I have to put the coach on the shelf. And I can't come. I'm not coaching my husband. I am now his wife. So I'm coming home. I'm not coming to, evaluate him or teach him or whatever the case may be. And so some of them do morph, but most of them you kind of got to remind yourself where you are. And literally learning who I was and the different parts of me have helped me to navigate them seamlessly.
Beautiful. So poetic. Wow. So, Dr. Shavona, in life, we strive for growth and success. What has that growth and success journey been like for you?
Oh, my. So, first of all, I had a false narrative of what growth and success was in the beginning. So, what I was measuring my growth and success by really wasn't growth and success. I was swelling, but I wasn't really growing. And so once I actually learned the actual growth, for me, I celebrate each accomplishment, each stride. It could be one day that I made an accomplishment. Growth and success journey, I've actually started to learn to applaud myself along the way. And for me, I started setting goals for me, not waiting on other people. And so my growth and success journey was I set out to get my doctorate by the time I was 40. I got it at 39.
Wow.
All while still being a wife, a mom, and a preacher. I went, thank God, and took an accelerated doctorate course and got my doctorate at 39. But my growth and success journey comes with a little pain in the middle of it. Because even while I was getting my doctorate, my grandfather who raised me suddenly passed. I had literally just started writing my thesis. I literally had just started writing, just got the outline approved, and he suddenly transitioned. It rocked my world because he raised me, so it was like my dad. And so my success journey meant that I had to push past pain. My success journey means that I had to tunnel through and crawl through pain. And so different things started happening during that season. So I don't have that cute flowery bed of ease success story. I got the one where I had to be committed. I had to be determined. I had to fall and get back up. I had to kind of crawl a little bit or whatever. But nevertheless, God always gave me the strength to keep going. I may have moved a little slower, but then he would let me keep going. I may have had to digress, but he would let me keep going. And I got my doctorate and I went on to write my first book. And then before I knew it, I was in a collaboration on a second book. And before I knew it, I was finishing my own second book. And so growth and success has been literally God's manifested promise for my life. It's just been his journey for me. It's taken some twists and turns, but the end result is always the promise that he already spoke over me.
Oh, wow. That is so powerful. See, I love those moments in life when you just have to go, plot twist. and going through those treacherous times builds, whilst they're so hard and they're so gut-wrenching and painful, they build such tenacity and resilience, courage, and I think the internet cut out a little bit. I think you said commitment and dedication. And it builds so much character in us. And I think sometimes when we do sail through life, we don't get to, I mean, we still learn things along the way, but when you go through those hard times where your soil's being dug up and sometimes your dirtiest parts are showing, it really reveals our character. And it gives God moments where he gets to refine us and purify us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're so powerful, and they're so, I've been through a season like that recently, and I defined it as brutal and beautiful because the stuff that was brought up and revealed to me, and it's very confronting. Those moments are really confronting when you see your strength, and often this is the part actually that I love the most. When we go through moments like that are so tough, I don't know about you, but I spent so many hours, days on my face, on the floor, with tears, snot, ugly crying,
Mm-hmm.
crying to God, not to take it away, but to help carry me through that, to help me learn the lessons I needed to learn, to help me grow, as you said, because there is so much more success and growth and learnings in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's just like what you said. Some of my strongest growing moments were my ugliest. I grew the most in those ugly moments that I did spend on the floor, or I did spend snotting and crying, or I did spend alone. Those actually were my best growing moments. I didn't like them. They didn't look good, didn't feel good. But as I look back on retrospect, they really were my best growing moments. That's where I grew the most.
I love that so much. There's so much power in that. Thank you for sharing that. So beautiful. So
Yeah.
out of this, what's the most important thing that you've learned in life?
And that would be twofold. Is to really trust God in everything. Um, I've learned to see God in everything. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but I've really learned to see God in everything. Is kind of like you just said, I had to learn to see the beauty in the things that probably were the ugliest. And for me, if I could see God in anything, then I can push through anything. So that's what keeps me going. If I can see God in everything or anything, then I can push through everything and anything. And so that's what keeps me going. As I use the word often, it keeps me pushing. It
Yeah.
keeps me pushing. And as I push those I encounter. And that's where God has me. If I can see him, like I said, I might start moving a little slow, but I won't stop.
Ah, I love that so much. It's so great. And there's that word
Mhm.
pushing again.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So what makes you feel inspired or feel like you're being your best self?
Impacting somebody. For me, if I can impact one person or encourage one person or bring hope to one person, I don't need a mass. I don't need a large following. If I could just impact one person, then I feel like I am being my best self, especially when I know that I did it with the authentic me. I didn't put on the airs. I showed up as not even the doctor. I showed up as Shavona. I showed up as the woman, and the gifts and the anointing that God placed inside of me. That's what brought forth some type of hope, some type of peace, some type of strength. If I can see that, I know I'm living my best life. As I would say, as long as I can as long as I can help somebody, I am good. I am good with it.
I love that. I through my life, there's been a lot of turmoil and ups and downs and whatever. You can read my story, but that makes it all worth it. That one person that we get to reach, even if it's only one. And
Mhm.
there's been stuff in my life, and I think, would I go through that again? Yeah, I would. If it meant that I could reach one person, then I would go through that again. It makes it worth it. And it's so beautiful. And I feel that's possibly also a thing that a thing, not a thing. I feel that that's also possibly a blessing that God gives us, so we can see that the things that we've been through in life, it it happened to us, but it's not for us.
Yes.
It's it's to rescue someone else, and our
Mhm.
experience, our story is someone else's freedom.
Ha! Wow. So not to jump ahead. So I have a t-shirt that's a part of my business that's on my website that says, "My journey is someone else's freedom."
Oh.
I literally just had the shirt on Saturday when I spoke at a suicide prevention event. I had the shirt on that said, "My journey is someone else's freedom."
Wow. That is so powerful. And is there a reason that you were speaking at the suicide prevention? Is that a topic that's close to your heart for a particular reason, or?
So, no, a friend of mine had the event, and she wanted different professionals, one being a life coach, and that was my role in the panel, on how to help people navigate those spaces, from a clinical perspective, from a coaching perspective, from just a friend perspective. And so that's where my role was, from the life coach perspective.
Oh, they were blessed to have you, Dr. Shavona.
Mhm. Yes,
Really
ma'am.
blessed to have you. Yeah. That's a topic that's very close to my heart, having attempted suicide 3 times. So that's why I love hearing stories about suicide prevention and people speaking up about it. It's so important because it is so prevalent and it's becoming more so, and it's just devastating
Mm-hmm.
for the person who is committing suicide and for the people who are left behind. So
Yes.
thank you.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
for
Yes,
being
ma'am.
involved in that. Mm. All right. So in life, we experience successes and wins, but the failures are what teaches us those important lessons. Would you share a lesson you learned from failing forward?
So I've had, for me, and this is just my own conviction. I don't have failures. I have teachable moments.
Mm.
And so those moments where I didn't get it right, and everything, I can share a couple of them. So I got connected in relationships, that I knew were not for me. I knew they only wanted me because I would be able to spend my money or whatever. And I allowed myself to get in relationships and friendships that literally would drain me but not add to me. So here I was in a cycle, like a hamster going around in a circle, unfulfilled, existing but not living. And it became a cycle of things that I would set to do something and it wouldn't work. I would set my goal to achieve something and it wouldn't work. And I oftentimes had to really sit. I blamed others for a long time for the mistakes I made. I blamed others for a long time for my shortcomings and me not being able to meet the mark, until one day I just really had to face that some of the things were me. And so in those teachable moments, I had to learn why I made the mistake in the first place. Why did I get involved in that relationship? Why did I get in debt? Why did I go that route when I knew it wasn't good? Why did I even try that venture when I knew I really didn't like it? I had to really figure out what was driving me, or why was I trying to seek something that wasn't for me. And when those teachable moments started teaching me my why, then I started realizing that my failures will fuel me. They didn't have to stop me, but now I could learn from them and be fueled to show up as me, but show up as me with more wisdom, to know the signs and not make the same mistake again. And so you can't avoid failure. You can't avoid mistakes. You're not going to always get it right. But I've learned not to beat myself up when I miss the mark. If I miss the mark, I literally have my moment, because I am emotional. So I have my moment, or whatever the case may be. But then I remind myself, this does not have to be my detriment. This can fuel me to keep going. And so I just literally use it as a teachable moment. And that's what's worked for me, is to now, because looking at it as a failure, I always would be real hard on myself. I would beat myself down for not doing well or not doing this. But when I started looking as a teachable moment, I'm not as hard on myself that I didn't make it, because I've realized I still got another chance to do it, try it again.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I love your flip on your words. It's not a failure, it's a teachable moment.
Mhm.
The words we speak over our lives and over other people's lives, there's life and death in the tongue, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And accountability is a huge factor. We can blame everyone for everything going wrong in our lives, but at the end of the day, we have to take responsibility for our part in it, our choice, and even our boundaries around hearing and knowing that this person, this relationship, this investment is not right, but doing it anyway.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're they're big, hard, valuable lessons to be learned. I love that. It's really
Yeah.
great. Thank you for sharing. So, what is one piece of advice you would give our listeners on how they can empower their own growth and success journey?
The main thing I would say to you is find out your why.
Mm.
Connect to your why. If you know why you want to do this, or why you're called to this, or why you were created for this, or why you should do whatever it is, I don't care how rough it get, you'll always come back to your why. I don't care how many storms come, you'll always come back to your why. I don't care if nobody supports you, you'll always come back to your why. Many of us get distracted and we give up because we really don't know our why. If you can center yourself and totally identify your why in achieving whatever goal you're achieving, trust me, your why will keep you grounded. That's what keeps me grounded. Storms come, hurricanes come, all kinds of stuff come. But my why is embedded in my heart. My why is embedded in my DNA. My why is embedded in who I am. And so I challenge anyone listening, tap into your why. Don't look for external sources, but connect to your why. And trust me, you'll always make it.
Oh, so good. The why roots go quite deep, don't they? So
Mm-hmm.
as you were saying, when the storms come, it doesn't move you. It still keeps those why roots rooted deeply and firmly in that foundation. It's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, you do have 3 books. Do you have them with you by any chance?
I sure do. And so my first book is the I Am More Now Empowerment Journal,
What a
um,
beautiful cover.
which it is interactive. It empowers you to motivate yourself, to overcome, to be restored, and to be empowered. It allows you to actually navigate and know that you're more, not when you reach the goal, but you're more when God says you're more. And so that was my first book that I released last year, June. So I released it in June of 2021. Um, then, of course, I collaborated with you, amazing Queen, on the Queen Esther's Royal Code. Yes,
Yeah.
our international bestseller that we collaborated on. And that we did that in June of this year. And then on my birthday, August the 31st, which was just 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, happy
I
birthday.
released my new book, which is The Cutting That Made Me Whole. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but it's my journey to the manifestation of promise on my life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really powerful. I need to get my hands on those other 2 books on the bookends of Queen Esther. Of course,
Yes,
I already
ma'am.
have that one. What's your chapter in Queen Esther called? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I am talking about the success. I am the featured author for success in Queen Esther's Code. Um, I was built for this. I was made for this. I was created for this, but success wasn't easy. So my chapter discusses how to actually journey through the manifestation of success, not just going from A to B, but learning how to navigate the in between. Learning how Queen Esther actually navigated the in between. And so in my chapter, you got to get it. Can't tell you everything because we need you to go and get Queen Esther's Royal Code. But Queen Esther, she exhibited an amazing strength and tenacity, even in the face of what could have been her detriment. So her success was in her push. Yeah, that's my word. If you notice, I talk about it a lot, but her success was in her push. And so you really need to go get Queen Esther's Code, because listen, we're dropping some amazing nuggets in there. So you need to go and you need to get it because it will bless your life. Trust me.
Oh, it is such a powerful book. And from memory, there was 4 chapters: leadership, success, preparation, which I was the featured author for, and strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It is a phenomenal book with some incredible writers in there.
Yes.
Dr. Shavona, I am just so grateful for our time together. Is there anything else, maybe some words of wisdom that you would have for our listeners, or anything else that you would like to say before we end this call?
Yes. So there are 2 things for anyone that's listening. Many of us are going through so many things in life, but I just want to leave you with 2 things that will strengthen you. Is your pain does not dictate your future. Your pain does not dictate your future. I talk about it in my book, but your pain does not define where you're going. It's just the canal by which you got to get there. And so don't allow pain to hinder you. Don't allow it to distract you. Don't allow it to detour you. Hold fast and know that your pain does not dictate your future. And the second thing that I say to my mentees, I say to anyone that's dealing with anything, whatever you're facing, I know you may feel like you may not have been accepted. They may didn't bring you into the in crowd, but it's not rejection, it's protection.
Oh.
Oftentimes, when we don't get that right connection, or we don't get that job, or we don't get that whatever it is we're achieving, we'll feel rejected. We feel like we didn't make it. But sometimes God is just protecting us for the season that's to come. It goes back to me saying, seeing God in everything. It's not rejection, it's protection. Because some of us, if we weren't quote unquote rejected, we would have got entangled in stuff that will cause us to miss the promise. So it was really protecting us so that we could be in the right posture to receive everything that God has for us. So I challenge you, don't allow your pain to dictate your future, and always know it's not rejection. It's God protecting you because he's got something great in store for you.
Oh, amazing. 2 really powerful things that you've just left us with. Thank you so much. Beautiful gold nuggets. Dr. Shavona, how can people get in touch with you? I will put it up in the video later, but just if you let that loose, and then we can wrap it up.
Absolutely. So listen, connect with me. So on Facebook, I am Shavona Whitehead. On Instagram, I am Dr. Vaughn. On Instagram, it's I am Dr. Vaughn, because that's what I am known as, Dr. Vaughn. And then on Facebook also, I have an empowerment group called Manifesting More with Dr. Vaughn. It's called Manifesting More with Dr. Vaughn. And then if you ever want to get and grab any product of mine, whether it be the books, t-shirts, mugs, or anything, you can head over to my website, which is simply www.shavonawhitehead.com. Simple, right? Just my name, www.shavonawhitehead.com. Connect with me, because guess what? I want to connect with you.
That's so beautiful. I'll be heading over there because I want that journal that you did, your first book. I want one of those.
Yes.
Dr. Shavona, it has been my absolute pleasure and my honor to have you as a guest on my show. I appreciate you. You have brought so much value to this segment, and I am so grateful. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well. Have a wonderful morning.
Thank you. And to all of our listeners, share away, share this podcast. There are people out there who need to hear what Dr. Shavona had to say. They're waiting on you. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day. Follow Angela on Facebook and LinkedIn at Angela Bennett, on Instagram at AngieB_transformations, or visit angieb.com.au. And remember, your past does not define you, it refines you.